I called last week, and I was talking about how, like grifters and stuff are, influencing the younger generation. And I got, some good feedback from you guys. And I thought I would follow up that with a question that's kind of been on my mind about kind of just the right wing in general in this country. And I kind of just wanted to know if you had like a vision for like what politics would look like in an ideal, like what the Democratic Party would look like and what the Republican Party would look like. And like, if there is a world where the Republican Party doesn't rely on fear-mongering and like bigotry to like spread its message. I'm just curious, like, because right now it just seems so messed up, like it's so dark and
the short answer is no. The short answer is no. The conservative movements, that's conservatism.
I would recommend a piece by Matt Karp in Jacobin. Actually, it was an interview with Matt Karp, a historian. We need class politics to end our second Gilded Age. That goes into a Gilded Age phenomenon where basically the more class abolitionist part of the Republican Party had been basically bleached out by the more corporatist side of it, and the Democrats and also the Democratic Party, which should have been disbanded and disallowed from politics after the Civil War, should never been invited back in, but was invited back in, and then they got to fight over cultural stuff for a significant period of time, and the only thing that improved over time was the more sort of centralization of more labor stuff in the Democratic Party. When it's diffused across the two parties, I think that's a bigger problem. So, like, for me, that's why I hate when Nancy Pelosi says things like we need a strong Republican Party, because, like, I think that, like, we need, like, I think if the Republican Party died, it'd be better, because then we could all just have these sorts of arguments. We wouldn't have the sort of capital veto existing in sort of, I guess, two different parties now, but it would just exist in one.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with what Matt was saying. So go ahead.
I mean, I agree. It just kind of seems like, we'd be better without the party in general. But, it's hard because, there are like some people I know that they're not entirely involved in politics, but like they seem reasonable to me. And then like it turns out that they are, they held conservative values and stuff. And it's just like, it's really, I don't know, the mass appeal of this party that to me, when I look at it, is just pure hatred. It's just so like, it's so concerning. But yeah, I mean, you guys have good insight into this kind of thing. I agree. There's no way that it's like we're ever gonna be really like rid of that. But I guess I just wanted to see if there was like, utopian society where
Brandon wants to jump in. Mark, one sec.
Oh, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, go for it.
No, I don't need to interrupt. But no, I mean, I think that your point is well taken. But I would just highlight that both of our parties are pretty unpopular, just generally speaking. It's like, it's easy to forget that because there's only two of them and they run against each other. And oftentimes, people are voting based on not liking the other party for a range of reasons that, range from legitimate to illegitimate. A lot of people in this country are just culturally Democrat or culturally Republican due to like where they're from, what their parents are, racial demographics, etc. But to your earlier point, I would just say, in reality, the Democrats are our conservative party and the Republicans are a far right, neo-fascist party. They are what, and this is something that again gets lost because a lot of Americans aren't, not to say you aren't, but a lot of Americans just don't have the context of global politics as like a guide. But the Republicans are perhaps, and people have said this, one of the furthest right parties in the world to have as much power as they do within the sort of, Western developed world. And the Democrats need them so that you don't realize how conservative they are. Because really the Democrats are the odd ones out. The Democrats are the ones who don't really have a good argument for why they should exist versus an either further left party or the further right party, they can just tell you that if you don't vote for them, the Republicans will get in charge. And so the reason Nancy Pelosi needs that like strong Republican party, because if they were weaker, if they were as marginal a party as they should be, they would be harder to reference as why Democrats need to be in charge, as to what makes Democrats not conservatives. That's why that's why they hate Bernie Sanders. Let's be honest. Like that's why that's why they didn't like Bernie Sanders, not because he was the furthest left you could be, but because he was just left enough that like he could say, well, in the 1960s, I was marching with Martin Luther King Jr. Where were you, Nancy Pelosi? Where were you, Hillary Clinton? And they don't want to talk about that. They talk about where Donald Trump was, which was like redlining, New York City or something. And so it's just about maintaining that kind of, shallow, obverse comparison between like one ultra right-wing party and a slightly less right-wing party. But the Democrats would be in the position of the Tories now if we had a strong left-wing, power base, like just marginal.
Literally, they work for the Tories often. Like Obama people go work for the Tories.
It's just like,
Appreciate the call, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, gotta jump. Thanks.